heat, no filter in sight. Jason's got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On FolkLOOR, they banter about the latest fight. FolkLOOR podcast, stories non-stop. Tim Damon gossip and Tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock pop. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the FolkLOOR podcast. We are back. It's been a little bit. We've been grinding. There's been a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff going on. We've been very busy. Just like the creators of South Park, we've had to delay some episodes so that we can give you a good one. So just as Matt Stone and Trey Parker delayed this week's episode, we delayed last week's episode. If they can do it, we can do it. So quantity over quality. That's
we can do that. We're like, hey, you know what? We just got to take a little extra time to get our episodes, and we can do that. The only difference is we did not get a $1 or $2 or $3 billion paycheck, but you know,
not yet. That's coming.
Yeah, that's coming. Speaking of money, bags of money. You know what? Just to be fair to all the people listening, that we're gonna have this conversation in real time. So this is like normally everybody we would have like a pregame. But you know, money's great, right? It's nice. It's a nice thing to have. But I don't think you should just take money just because it's money. I think you got to have some more, right? What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think I think you need to be cautious, right? Under especially in the media space, and that's one thing I know me and Jason have been really careful about as we've been building lores is making sure that all the investment is like-minded investment, and that we're all on the same page, and because money comes with strings attached. I think that's universal with most stuff, and so we're gonna get to your discussion on this specifically with the UFC and Saudi, but I hear some music coming. Do you hear it?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It's time for Jason's Trivia Lesson.
All right.
You know what? When we first started doing this gag with the trivia thing, that's pretty fun. Now I'm like, I really like that song.
Yeah, it's great.
So, all right. Well, this one is about a topic near and dear to my heart. It's one of the screenplays someday I would like to write. If I ever got to do a full TV show about the life of Richard Nixon, the heroism of Richard Nixon, this would be the first season. But so here it is. In 1948, in a nationally televised congressional hearing.
Y'all remember that year?
Yeah, you guys already know this. But in 1948, in a nationally televised congressional hearing, Whittaker Chambers accused Alger Hiss, a former State Department official, of being a Soviet spy, leading to a televised congressional hearing that captivated the nation and ended with Hiss being proven a spy, but convicted of perjury because the statute of limitations on espionage had already passed. That was the second televised congressional hearing. The trivia question is, what was the first?
Oh my God.
I just like to remind everybody every once in a while that a Soviet spy was convicted.
Wait, is this a sign of you've run out of ideas and you had to go this deep straight? Or do we really, as we've been doing this, audience, do we have a diehard fan of Witty James? Call him back in the day. Witty James. Yeah, because we all know who he is. 1948, what a glorious year it was.
Yeah, it really was. No, I just am a huge Whittaker Chambers fan. So
ask you this because, by the way, and I just want to admit this, I forgot everything you just said. So, you remember that scene in Airplane where Mrs. Beaver Cleaver just did what did they call it? Or she did it was like a certain speak that she did to like
The
she spoke.
transatlantic accent.
no jive
No,
speak.
when she said, "Oh, excuse me, I speak jive."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you just imagine like everyone just tuned in now? Can you reintroduce that in a way that we can all understand?
Yes. All right, jive turkeys. That's a great scene in Airplane, by the way. Yeah. So Whittaker Chambers accused Alger Hiss of being a spy for years, and it wasn't until Nixon came along and said, "Why hasn't anybody done something about this?" that they finally got a congressional hearing, and um, they proved Alger Hiss was a spy, but the statute of limitations had passed, so all they could get him on was perjury because he said he wasn't a spy under oath, and then they proved he was a spy. So that happened in 1948, and it was the second televised congressional hearing. The question is, what was the first televised congressional hearing, which was also earlier that year?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why we call this Jason. Learned of that they did not teach you at Columbia or Cardinal Newman High School. Wow. I know I are bubbling up with so many answers because we know it, but I don't want to spoil the show.
Yeah, I like Ian's comment. AI translate to jive.
What would be really fun, Jason? And again, I just like to workshop this in front of the live audience. You know how there's a whole pigeon they on all, including pigeon. Maybe for next week, you could do that. Reintroduce that whole question in pigeon.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll do it because I know there's an AI app that does it. We'll have you do the whole question, and we'll do it. And I hope this just garners like 8 million views when we do it.
Yeah, it's perfect. I'm down. We'll have to pick which pigeon because I know there's a couple of dialects of pigeon.
And then you get into North Shore pigeon, South Shore pigeon, White pigeon. There's so many pigeons. But anyways, I just want you to know, I want to be really honest to both of you and to the audience.
Oh, shoot.
Bro, you broke up on that last sentence, Sean.
I want to be really honest to the audience and to my fellow brothers. I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I think your noise cancellation is cutting you out unless you're close to the mic. That's
It's Dubai, but that's another story.
okay. Well, we should probably get into that Dubai story or the Saudi story you want to talk about with the UFC quickly.
Or I'm like literally drown in my own pool in the back.
Right.
Yeah.
Just saying. No, so well, kind of. I'll reverse course with you all because this is what I love. Like nothing's planned. We just go for it. I was thinking about this. Did any of you watch the Charlie Sheen documentary on Netflix?
I did not. It's on my watch list, but I have not watched it yet.
Marcus?
The Charlie Sheen documentary, I've not seen it yet, no.
Okay. I encourage you all to watch it. I know we only have limited time in our days. We've got literature to read.
There's 3 episodes of Big Brother a week at this point, so I'm pretty tapped out on my...
By the way,
as we're coming into the finale,
realize how hard it is. I'm gonna need you to take a knee on a couple episodes of Brother and just dive into it. But so this will be tough to have a deep conversation with you all because you haven't watched it. So let's not have this be the Sean show, but I encourage you to watch it, and I want to get your feedback next, and our viewers and listeners and just diehard fans. I know there's like 10, 27, 30 million of you out there listening. It's so interesting because my first instinct is like, you know, like, do I need to watch a thing about a privileged young guy who was the son of an actor and he had a bunch of drug problems and he's just out of his mind? I watched, I was like, wow, this is this is all I'll leave you with without giving anything away. There's some deep humanity in this that was really, forget about whether you like Charlie or dislike Charlie or all that. I can go on and on about that commentary. But this was a great example of storytelling where you got inside the mind of a person who has a human story to tell, and there's redemption, there's sorrow, guilt, there's confession, and it's beautiful if you look at that lens. And I will not celebrate how Charlie has led his life and the privilege he's had and all the stuff. It's like, dude, seriously, like, but it's really honest. And
We're getting you, Sean. It's the Saudis are coming in, but we're getting you.
my appetizer to the Saudi story. We're trying to like create some good vibes here.
Yeah.
Because
Well, and that
now we segue to bad vibes.
right. Yeah. When I watched the preview to the documentary and thought, oh, this looks like they're gonna just tell the story about a guy. I mean, and that's my favorite kind of documentary when it's somebody that it's not a heroic documentary. It's not. It's just here's the story of a real person, and that's at least that's what the preview made it look like. That's why I put it on my list. I thought, oh, that looks like my kind of documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like from a documentary perspective of telling stories and following someone who's a high profile celebrity individual. I think they did a really good job. I just got like 92 messages from fans that said that my mic is cutting out. You don't hear that, the listeners. So hopefully you can just piece together all my sound bites and just do it. So,
Yeah, the audio is not working very well for you, dude.
so here, since my audio is not working, I might just tease you on my Saudi Dana White Crawford Canelo story for next week.
Yeah, do it. Tease us.
There's nothing worse than leaving
All
listeners.
right.
How do you feel about that?
I think that's great, and I am completely unprepared and also totally prepared at the same time to just go on a tirade on Big Brother and how great of a show this is and why it's important to the world and culture. So,
Victor said, "Is this a live episode of Bad Lip Reading?"
Dubai, Saudi, they have nothing to do with why all of a sudden we've had successful technology and all of a sudden today it's not working. I'm not proposing anything. I'm not suggesting that any of those things I mentioned have anything to do with this. So I'm going to sign out. Throwing it to you, beards, to do this. I know you guys got this. And these are the you know what are the best episodes? The ones where there's no planning. So I leave it to you.
That's exactly right. It's the essence of punk rock. So
it is.
Have a good day, Sean. Me and Jason will take it from here.
We got this.
We got this. All right.
Well, we'll just have to save our show on the political ramifications of UFC and Saudi Arabia and that later. I really didn't have another topic prepared, but since it came up, Jason, do you watch Big Brother?
I do not watch Big Brother.
Okay.
I've never seen an episode. I've seen clips and things, but I've never seen an episode of Big Brother.
You just hear well, that's because you get the rundown from me every week.
I know. Yeah, every week you tell me what happened, so I feel like I've watched it.
well, I think there's a sort of like I guess they call it the trifecta, which is like the three classic reality TV shows that CBS started, which is like The Amazing Race, Survivor, and Big Brother. And I've just always been a fan of Big Brother. I've written articles on it, and it is when done well, when there's a good season. It's on its 27th season right now, so you'll have a period of 3 or 4 years where it's just not very watchable. It's not very good, but every now and then you get a great cast. And what I want to talk about is how the producers, in an attempt to drum up ratings, can actually destroy the foundation of the game, the rules of the game, and stuff like that. So, for those of you guys that don't know, Big Brother is basically you take a bunch of men and women and you put them in a house 24/7 with live cameras, and you can watch the cameras 24/7. But for the most part, you usually only watch the edited shows on CBS, and one of the things I think CBS has done really well, if you watch like a lot of the foreign versions of Big Brother, because there's Canada and Australia and England and all, like they're all either racy or they're like tormenting the house guest, or they just like they're all I I think like the more tyrannical a government is, the more cruel their Big Brother is on the show, which is ironic. But on the American one, it's strictly competition based. It's really great on that end, and it's really about social strategy and the politics of the house, and a lot of it is a mental game. Although there's some physical competitions that you can use. So there's 3 elements to the game. So the first one is every week there's a head of household who nominates 2 people for eviction. This year it's 3. We'll get into this. But there's 3 people that get nominated for eviction. Those 3 people, as well as the head of household, and I think 2 other people play that are voted randomly, if you believe in reality television, randomly, to be able to either take someone off the block or take themselves off. And then if that happens, someone else goes up. So there's all this strategy and manipulation that's like, why don't you put yourself on the block? You'll be totally safe. And, no one's going to vote you out. And you can win the veto, and then we'll put up someone else up. So there's all that. And then of course, if somebody takes themselves off, someone else goes on the block, and then live, there's a vote by the people in the house to kick someone out of the house every week. And that's the core element of the game. That's the way the game should be played. That allows all the drama you need, all the social strategy, all the lying and manipulation that makes the show good. Unless, of course, you have a cast that's full of whiny millennials who don't want to hurt anybody's feelings and forget what game they're in. Well, this year they went and took a player named Rachel Riley, and she actually fell in love with another house guest while she was in the house. They got married and they have kids, and that was 13 years ago, I believe, 13 or 14 years ago. So she's like this legendary player. She's an incredible strategist, brilliant, like just using like cherries to count cherries to she's always focused on the game. There's never a moment where she gets distracted by relationships and friendships. She's always, she's counting cherries as a way to memorize who got voted off and when, because she knows there's going to be trivia competitions later where they're going to ask her about who was HOH when this person got voted off and how many votes did that person. So it's just complete mental comp. And so usually what happens is you get the first players, they go away, and then the last remaining 9 players or seven players, I think, go to what's called the jury house, where they're sequestered, and then at the last episode they vote on who wins. So this is a lot, but bear with me, it's very important. And so that jury period is very important because there's a lot of strategy that's gone up to that point. Well, the producers this year decided, hey, what if instead of doing the typical get the veto, go on the block, get voted out by your peers sort of thing, we have this competition that will just, if you lose the competition, you just automatically get sent home. Now, That is not how this game is played, and never anyway. It's never been done that way. And Rachel Riley, who is the ratings driver for this whole season, played that comp, and she lost and went home. And the internet went nuts. Okay, so they went from 3.2 million viewers a week to 1.2 the next week without her on the show. Now remember, this is supposed to be a fun little twist that makes the game more different and interesting to watch, and it actually it destroyed the show. And now no one's like, well, and then if you watch the live feeds, you have all these players, and these players are going on talking about how they don't even feel like playing anymore because they're just going to lose competition, and none of it matters anyway. So it's like the whole time you have this revolt from the cast of the show, and then you have this revolt from the audience itself. And I just think it's very interesting because you have a show that's been around for 27 years and works as is, and you're trying to do all these different things. And it completely destroys the foundation of the show. The good news is I actually don't think they'll ever do it again, unless they're incredibly arrogant and don't care about we've seen that. But there's reasons why Survivor has been on for 50 seasons, right? Like, like certain times, like you don't change Jeopardy, right? You don't change Wheel of Fortune. Like you keep it the same. And I just think that's a very interesting topic. I'm sure nobody cares about Big Brother except for me. It's totally okay. But I've been watching for a very long time. And it's one of those only shows that really benefits from having actual villains. A lot of shows, there's like this fake villain sort of like nonsense, or the villain is like some sort of sin, like an affair, or like, we're going to do Love Island and it's just all adultery, or Bachelor, it's all adult, right? Like all this sort of stuff. It's just like the evil is like legitimately evil, but with Big Brother, what makes the evil good, I would say, or interesting, probably not good, but interesting, is that you can actually enter that game and use deception honestly, because everybody in that house agreed we're going to come in and we're going to play this game, and some people are going to fake a pass and others are not going to fake a pass and try to play honestly. And so there's this, and because of that, you never know if someone's honestly being truthful to you. And then there's all this like blind sides, and these really good relationships get completely, or by relationship, I mean friendships, get completely destroyed because they thought they could trust that person, but really that person was playing with this other person on the other side. I mean, it's just, that is the incredible brilliance of that show. And you don't really get to see that sort of social strategy play out in any other reality show, probably except for Survivor. I think that works really well. But yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts, and it's one of the only shows that consistently, where the bad guy, the villain, the guy who like ultimately is the most dangerous player that everybody doesn't like, consistently wins. And I just find that interesting in and of itself, because I know I'm still going, but I have to, because I have to fill a show because we don't have Sean anymore. And so, but that's really interesting too, because the strategy is I'm going to go in there, I'm going to be the biggest piece of garbage I can be, and everybody sees you as an obvious threat, so they keep you in there because you can always go on the block, you'll always be removed. And then by the time they're like, hey, now it's time to get out, like it's too late, and they've already amassed relationships and power and that sort of thing. And those guys always win if they play it right. So and history has shown that to be the case. But yeah,
if you and I both went on a reality TV show, I would put my money on you over me.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not telling the truth to anybody. So because it's the only time you can do it. It's the only time you could do it with a completely pure conscience. It's like, right. You guys, like I'm not going to tell you my chess moves. Like I'm not going to do, like, it's like, I'm not, if I'm sending this pawn out here, I don't really believe that pawn is important. And it's, the only difference with Big Brother is the pawns are people. You know, it's the same. It's the same thing.
And all they do is lose at a game, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's exactly right. And
yeah.
usually, also interesting fact: there's been more marriages and children from Big Brother than there has been from The Bachelor. So you
Oh,
know,
man.
it's basically
Honestly,
courtship.
that's not a surprise.
Yeah, it's basically courtship when you're in there,
Yeah,
right? Like it's just
right.
nothing to do but talk.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing to do but talk.
You
Next
can't
thing
do
you
too
know,
much else. There's cameras everywhere, right? So it's yeah, I always found that interesting. But should I talk about the worst season of Big Brother?
well, I remember when Big Brother started, because the name comes from George Orwell's
That's right.
1984. Yeah, thinking, oh man, this is going to be right up my alley, and then going, oh no, I guess it's not that literary of a show.
The name only. The
Yeah,
name only.
the name only.
And all the cameras and now if you watch the foreign versions in America, Big Brother's not a character, but in the foreign versions, Big Brother is an actual character that brings havoc on the house.
Okay.
And basically, like an example, I was watching like a clip on TikTok of like, I don't know if it was a Canadian version or Australia version, but they had this thing where they had to stand still, like that was their like for like an hour or 2 hours or whatever. And so Big Brother went and brought. This is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. By the way, this is like even when I watch it, I cringe. It's the worst thing. But so everybody's sitting still to win this competition or win this money or whatever, and there's like a punishment on the whole house if the house fails, and they bring in one of the contestants' dog, and the dog comes in the house, finds its owner, and she can't pet it or
Can't
say
pet
hi.
it.
She hasn't seen the dog in probably a month or two, and just
Yeah,
like
torture the
yeah,
dog.
it's torture to the dog and the person. And the American version of Big Brother isn't like that. They're not
Isn't like
cruel.
that.
It's
Yeah.
not cruel. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the worst season of Big Brother was during the height of the woke DEI sort of stuff.
Right.
So they had now remember, the if you're a white person and you say the N word during the live feed at any moment, you're immediately
You-
removed from the
You're,
house. Like
yeah.
there's no tolerance for racism, right?
Right.
So during this season, particularly, you had a group, an all black group of contestants that formed an alliance called the Cookout. Right? So you know where this is going. They each befriended a white person, and they slowly, one after the other, took out all the white people strictly because they're white, and they wanted the first black winner of Big Brother. I think is how they. Yeah, that's what it was, and they
Okay.
were successful. And you just like the whole time you're watching this season, you're like, guys, if a white group of people got together and said, we're taking out all the black people one by one, we're going to make sure a white person wins this game, they would all be removed. Like there's no way for that. And it kind of ruined the show because it always said, like, all the contestants that kind of came after it always thought, well, like, you know, we're the black people here, so there's a target on us automatically. Or the white people think, oh, there's a
Right.
target, but they couldn't ever say it because
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a real disaster. That was a real disaster of a real disaster.
So what you're
Season.
saying is racism ruins things. Is that
Yeah, especially reality television. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it did. And
To be totally honest, the last reality TV show that I watched was The Real World on MTV.
Oh yeah.
That's how long it's been since I've watched like multiple episodes of a single season of reality TV. Like I get why people like it. It just has never been super interesting to me. But I remember, when it first came out thinking like, oh, this is crazy. But
Well,
I'm sure
yeah. Well, I think like, it's like you think of like soap operas, you go, man, this is just trash television. But also they film 365 episodes a year, right? Like, so
Right.
it's like, well, actually, that's really hard to do.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
especially without ever
And
moving the plot forward. That's what's crazy.
well, yeah, right. That's right. So you probably get like what 5 minutes from each a plot development, like each episode, between multiple characters, and
Yeah,
yeah. So, but yeah, that's exactly, uh, you look at these things, you go, oh well, that is, it's easy to say, well, that's simple, but there's a lot of complexities
yeah,
but behind it. The complexity of Big Brother, just in the sense of like, you have this house that has 100 cameras, and you have producers, and I heard they can only record like maybe 16 cameras at a time, or 8 cameras at a time, because of the amount of hard drive space that they actually have.
yeah,
So like they constantly have story people there that's just monitoring every conversation, and then they only have one day to put together an episode.
yeah.
um uh
Yeah, it's an impressive team for sure, and they find stories and they arc out stories in the episodes, and that's all pretty impressive. So
Yeah, and what they leave out too, because what they have to make those decisions. Because what I'm finding now, especially in the age of TikTok, where people are watching the live feeds and reporting on situations and things that are happening that don't make it to TV, and most people don't even know about. So I'll give you this one. So in this recent season, there's a guy that's just he's just crushing it right now. His name is Keanu, and he formed a relationship with Rachel Riley, and they were kind of together as an alliance. And so then he betrayed her, right? And it was this big falling out between them. And then the next thing next week, you just see that Keanu says, "Hey, that was a mistake. I'm just going to get back together." What you didn't see is that he once had a house. We know one had a house. He once had a household. When he went and had a household, you get a basket, and in that basket, you get a letter from a loved one from home. And so on the live feeds, and this was all over TikTok, you just don't see that. You didn't see this on TV at all. He got a letter from his mom, and his mom was saying, "Hey, remember the faith in which I brought you up in the fear of the Lord, and to be honest, and to who you are as and all this." Like, it was just this beautiful letter from a mom. Basically, basically, we're kind of reminded of like Sam Morris's parents when his wife died.
yeah,
After he created the telegram, but before he read, and they were just like, remember the catechism in which you were raised, like that, like it was the exact same language. And it was because of that, immediately after that, he completely missed all this context. He goes to Rachel and apologizes to her and says, look, my mom's letter reminded me that I'm not playing this true to the character that I want to portray and who I am. And so he repented to her and reformed this relation. And it's like, oh, that makes so much more sense
yeah.
as to why
Why?
it wasn't. Yeah, the editors wrote it out. I was like, oh yeah, it was just like, it's just a game decision because now she's really mad and he's worried. No. Like, he got a letter reminding him of his faith that he was brought up in. And so all that Christianity is kind of like tossed aside,
Yeah,
But
yeah. Jake Beal has joined the chat. He says, "What's up?" Victor also remembers early '90s MTV when they barely played music videos,
yeah, man.
as
Yeah.
opposed to now when they don't even put on Beavis and Butthead when Beavis and Butthead comes out. So
Yeah. Hey, I had something I wanted to tell you. Did you know that if you subscribe to lore.tv, if you go to the account settings page, you get your own private link to invite your friends to subscribe? And with that link,
and had no idea.
yeah, and it's in the account settings. You get your own private link, and with that link, if you invite somebody to join, they will once they subscribe and their free trial is over, you'll get an additional 1,200 loot to put towards a project for free.
That's like an entire week's worth of loot.
It's an entire week's worth of loot, and I don't think there's a limit on that.
Oh my gosh, that's
So in
amazing.
theory, you could fund an entire show just by inviting friends to join the platform.
Well, I wonder why people. Oh, Victor's showing us his.
Victor said, like
Victor's like,
this one.
I'm in. He says, I'm in.
Yeah, if you want to sign up
Victor
for
wants
lore,
that 1200
use
loot.
Victor's link. Yeah, we encourage password sharing and link sharing
And
on
link
lore. Just
sharing,
unlike other streaming platforms that have cracked
yeah.
down on the
The
thing that
thing
made
is,
them grow in the first place.
if you share your password, they might buy gold loot using your credit card, which we also encourage. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah, there is that, but they might spend your loot. But so yeah, I just thought I just thought I should mention that. And
yeah,
also, if you spend all your loot every week, you get an extra 200 bonus loot to be able to spend towards another project, just simply because you spent all your loot. So it's a
yeah,
reward for engaging and being active. So
yeah. Well,
Ian
you
says,
know,
like an affiliate. Oh, like an affiliate. Yes, it is an
yeah,
affiliate.
yeah.
It is like an affiliate link. Yes.
The, well, the show that I have been rewatching is the old is Doctor Who, um, because
The classic
just the
episodes.
classic episodes. Yep, and because for a while I was not watching it because I just don't like the new Doctor. Um, but
Plural.
the yeah, I guess the last two Doctors I haven't
Yeah.
really liked the actor, the direction that they've taken the character, and like I think every actor should be taking the character in a new direction because they always have. That's part of the universe. Is when the Doctor regenerates, you get a whole new version of the Doctor, and I just haven't liked the last two. So I haven't been watching it. But then I started thinking, but I did used to love it. What did I love about it? So I went and watched the older episodes, and
Well, the
thoroughly.
writing for sure is insane. I
The
mean,
writing is really great. So
me and you were talking about this at the cigar lounge the other day. The writing about River Song and the
mhm,
Doctor is some of the best writing and story arc I've ever seen
yeah,
in any television series ever.
it's one of the
Series ever.
greatest tragic love stories on TV. Um,
It is.
that
It's so
if you haven't
tragic.
seen it, you this doesn't spoil it. If you haven't seen it, they're all
I'm not.
time travelers, right?
Yeah, I'm not.
So I'm
I won't
but
spoil it.
I'll say just enough. But they're time travelers whose timelines are intersecting in opposite directions over and over and over. So they their love story is one of them remembers less and less and less while the other remembers more and more and more about their love, and it's just so wonderfully heart-wrenching. Where you're like, oh, it just hurts so good. The
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Meryl Streep is the next Doctor Who. I don't know if she'd be able to pull off the masculinity necessary.
I think whoever plays the Doctor has to be completely unknown.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's the only way to do it. The what was the Doctor before the female Doctor, the older guy?
The Scottish guy.
Yeah, he was well
Yeah,
known, but he played it so well.
he did.
And he was in a previous episode where he was a Roman emperor, but they just connected that really well. Like everything was really thought out, and I don't think he had enough time to really
Yeah,
develop. But he could have been, I think, one of the top doctors. But
yeah,
I mean, David Tennant and Matt Smith, I think,
just
are
yeah,
insanely
next level.
perfect. And then it just got weird. And I'll say this too, because I was really into the Doctor and Doctor Who as that transition, literally transition from male to female took place. And initially, everybody was like, "Oh, this is woke," and just all this sort of stuff. And I was like, "Well, no, it makes sense within the story that they built and the world that the universe that they made." that the Doctor is a complete DNA transformation. They've said that over and over again. So
Yeah.
there wasn't anything that was like, well, that's weird and doesn't make sense, and that's just they're just trying to get a gender role in it. Like, it actually could have worked. But I think, what happened was she had maybe 2 seasons, and like at least like the one entire season that she had, the first one, every episode had this sort of political preaching
Yep.
message that was like global warming or something, and it was just so in your face, like a Pureflix movie. Like, you're just like, I can't tolerate this anymore. And my wife was like, oh, let's just keep pushing through, because I think we stopped watching it, and then like we heard there's going to be the new Doctor, but David Tennant's coming back, and so my wife's like, let's just push through, make sure we don't miss anything, and then and we pushed her. In the last season that she did was actually pretty decent.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah,
watch the second
the
season
last
she did.
season, I think they brought the writer back, I believe.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about the specifics of that, but it was just way more on it was just way more focused on just the classic
Yeah.
the bad guys, the Daleks and Cybermen and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, whereas the first season was not that. And so it kind of felt like she was getting into the zone before they pulled her out, but which was good. I'm glad she got like a send off that was like, at least allowed her to be the Doctor. And then I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, but David Cuddy, who's the gay Doctor,
Yeah.
and wears a dress. Well, they say it's a kilt, but it is fashionably like a dress.
It is a very fabulous kilt.
Yeah. It's a very fabulous kilt. And I heard this. I don't know, because I haven't seen any of his episodes. I heard not one time in his reign as the Doctor did he ever come face to face with a Dalek or a Cyberman. Is that true?
I have heard that too, but I haven't watched it. I think what happened is Doctor Who knew that it was just making miniature B movies. That you've got Dalek, you've got Cybermen, you've got guys in rhino masks, and that's what you're making is B movies that are time travel, B movies in space. And then it got popular, and they started saying, we have to be, this is serious now. And I think that was what shifted, is they started taking Doctor Who seriously.
Victor said they did not. And he, is it the Doctor cried in every episode, or you, Victor? I think he means the Doctor.
I think he means the Doctor cried in almost every episode. Yeah.
But that's, I mean, like, that's so strange. Again, but it goes back to the Big Brother thing, right? You have this formula that works.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, the show's been on 50 years. We've got to like change things around. And it's like, no, you actually don't.
Yeah.
I've said this before. There's something that resonates with image bearers when it comes to a good story or the good mechanics of a good story. So you have something like, let's say, Survivor, Big Brother, or you could go to, I mean, there's a lot of things. Late night talk shows is a great example of this,
Yep.
where the quality isn't as good anymore for, I mean, casting reasons, or the host is not honoring the format properly and turning it into a political show or whatever. Like, there's all these different things that can go wrong, but it doesn't mean that a format that has resonated positively for multiple years suddenly just doesn't work anymore. It's impossible because you're not making stuff for a specific, something that lasts that long transcends an age demographic.
Yeah.
Right. So that means there's something more to why this is working on a larger level than just well, that age group, all died out, and so people don't watch Survivor anymore. It's not true. Like Survivor is like massive among Gen Z and millennials right now. It's like like it's still a massive show, And the same
Right.
thing is true for Traitors. Like Traitors just won the Emmy for best reality TV series, beating Survivor, right? And so like Traitors is a phenomenal show. And by the way, they're about to do a season that is a normal season without celebrities, so it'll have a regular cast of unknown people. So I'm actually really excited about that. But there are formats that work. I think Traitor is probably the closest to that Big Brother line, where it's like really about manipulation and deception, and that makes it work really well. And it's simple. It's like it's just really simple. There's a guy here, and we have to figure out who it is, and if we don't, we get voted out, right? Like it's just a very simple format, which is actually based off of a kids game, right? Where you put your heads down and you just like thumbs up. I don't remember what that
heads up,
Mafia?
7 Up.
Heads
Or
up,
is it Mafia?
yeah.
Heads up, 7
Well,
Up.
it's the same premise. It's the same premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heads up, 7 Up, Mafia. Like it's the same premise, just a bigger version of that. But you don't need anything spectacular to get people interested in watching again. When we were watching it with the celebrities, me and my wife were like, man, like this would be really great with regular people, man. I really hope they do this with regular people. And they are, because they know they have a hit on their hands. And like, why are we paying all these celebrities all this money to be on this show when we could just get regular people and pay them the union minimum? Yeah. So.
Yeah. And I think, genres and formulas, it's really a way of hospitality to an audience, right? Where you say, hey, I know you guys love this sort of thing. But we're going to surprise you too, right? When you do it well, you say, come on in. I know you love this kind of show. I know you love this kind of thing. But we're going to surprise you along the way too. It's really saying, like, I love my audience, and that's why I do my genre well. So, should I give the answer to our trivia question?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the question is, what it was the first televised congressional hearing? So we talked about the second one where Whittaker Chambers outed Alger Hiss as a spy. But the first one was in also 1948, and it was when the Hollywood 10 for the House Un-American Activities Committee brought the Hollywood 10 in and said, are you a member of the Communist Party? And they all said, how dare you ask us about this? 9 out of 10 of them ended up confirmed communists. So I've always thought that was amazing. 9 out of 10 of them were confirmed as communists since then.
What year was this?
It was 1948.
Was this with McCarthy?
This was the very beginning of McCarthy, and so everyone was they put the congressional hearing out to say, and everybody said, look at how what they're doing and all this, and history is confirmed that 9 out of 10, 7 were actually card-carrying members of the Communist Party that wanted to overthrow the government, and then 2 were confirmed communists as well, and then the 9th one has never spoken in public again, so nobody knows.
Chances are. Because all I'm going to say is, look, if I'm not a communist and you drag me before a bunch of a tribunal, I'm going to let you know I'm not a communist. And then after everything's over, 50 years later, I'm still going to remind you guys I'm not a communist.
So that was the very first time that they put a congressional hearing on television, there's some great stories around the way television came to influence politics, but I thought that one was pretty good. But our band has put together a song for us, and this time they did Goblin Core. I was excited because I don't know what that is.
You don't know what Goblin Core is?
No, I'm not aware of it.
I have no idea. I'm kind of nervous. All right.
We're going to find out.
love that line.
Where the nettles sting, Charlie Sheen's sober. He's found his swing with a crooked grin and a battle cry. We'll expose the spies, watch their lies run dry. The hills are alive with the sound of schemes, but goblins dream wilder, wilder dreams. Big Brother's watching season 27. Rachel Riley's riddles ain't no ticket to heaven. Goblins rise with mud on our face. We'll root out the spies and reclaim this Burns and fungi are camouflage tied through the briar and bramble. We fight through the night. No glitz, no glamour, no Hollywood scene. Just moss covered justice. Charlie Sheen's clean.
Alright, everybody. Thanks again for watching another episode of the FolkLOOR Live podcast. No episode next week as we will be traveling. But we got some plans for the next coming episodes. Be sure, by the way, to follow FolkLOOR or Lore TV, follow Lore TV on Kick.com, because we're going to start really making a heavy move to start streaming on Kick starting next week. And if you're not on there, you'll miss the show. All right, everybody.